What is the vision that you want to move towards? So that's like, you know, from positive psychology, the best possible self. Like, what would it look like? What would it feel like? Who else would that impact? What is it costing you? Or what will it cost you in the future if you don't have this right now?
This is the Born to be Brilliant podcast, helping you harness the habits and unlock the tools to bring you more meaning, vibrance, and the personal power to help you shine like the diamond you are.
Niyc Pidgeon is on the show again, and I'm so happy to welcome Niyc back to the show. One of my friends and mentors in the business world. A massive welcome, Niyc.
Thanks for having me back. I'm so excited to have this conversation.
You were on episode 1.
Was it episode 1?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
You
I
were
love
on
this.
episode 1 launch, and yeah, there we go.
Birthing Born to be Brilliant.
Exactly. And here we are back again. So today, talking all about the psychology of sales, which is such an awesome topic because it's, you know, if you're in business, you're in sales. And with sales comes the psychology. So it's essential for everyone in business at every stage, I think, every single stage. I've been thinking about this just this week, and then you popped up in my mind. I was like, let's talk about this so everyone can benefit from the conversation. Do you want to just sort of like introduce the topic in the way that, you know, you talk about psychology of sales?
Yeah, and I mean, you're right that sales is everything. If you think about whatever job you have, whatever type of business you have, you're going to have to be able to present yourself and your product, service, or solution. And looking at the way that we move through the world, we are social creatures. And in relationship, we are essentially selling ourselves to each other all of the time. And what that actually should look like is us being able to be ourselves in relationship and show up authentically. And that goes in the world of sales as well. Now, it's so interesting because I've been working in the field of psychology for almost 20 years now. And when I started off, it was almost like it was a weird thing to be studying. And as the world has evolved, and as the world of entrepreneurship has evolved, after COVID, people becoming more understanding of mental health and the power of psychology, I've really seen these two worlds kind of meld and integrate together, where now everybody's recognizing that all of life is psychology, all of life is sales. So it's like we can't just separate it into a course or a profession or a career or a job title, because we're living and breathing it and doing it all of the time.
We are, aren't we? It's so true. It's like, it's not just money as well. Like sales, like you said, with relationships, it's even if it's not just romantic relationships, but just you're making new friends,
dating.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, but it is. It's like, if you think about even on social media as well, you've got a couple of seconds to capture someone's attention. And what is that? Like, what is attention? It's marketing, it's sales, it's positioning, it's credibility, authority, persuasion. And like I said to my dad yesterday, he was giving me a lift. He was driving me to the train station to go from Newcastle up to Glasgow. And we were just chatting away, and I said, Dad, it's really strange that you and my brother Luke and my mum have all ended up working in renewable energy, completely different companies, and like just coincidentally. Yeah. And then I thought, hang on a minute, Dad, you work in sales, Luke works in sales, I work in sales. I'm like, hang on a minute, how did my whole family work in sales? And I hadn't actually even realized this. So then I'm thinking out loud here. Yeah. I said, Dad, you're like my dad's 65 or something now. He's worked in sales all of his life. He used to be a development director for a plant hire company. I said, okay, Dad, here we go. Right, tell me what your biggest secret is for sales. Like, you've been doing this forever. You're old as anything. Tell me what your secret is. He went, that's easy, Niyc. I said, what? He said, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. He said, the worst salespeople talk all of the time. Yeah. The best salespeople listen. It was so simple. It's like, Dad, you're so cool. Yes.
That is so true, and actually not counterintuitive, but misunderstood, because I think if you think about selling and you think, well, to sell something, you've got to articulate it in some way, which we assume means either talking or, landing pages on a website or whatever. So it's communication. But that's actually a really valid point and really important, because you can't say the words or put the page together or communicate the offer or whatever it might be if you're not listening to the audience and what they are asking for and what their language is. And so, like, I think that's what you were getting at there. But like,
100%. It's I always listen to the industry. So when we're recording this, it's kind of December time. I listen to the industry and I watch a lot at this time of the year. And I'm always looking for what it is that people are saying and not saying and the problems that they have. Because I do a big launch in January and February. And there's usually some sort of division that happens online where I'll give you a specific example.
yeah.
People were talking about how launches are dead and evergreen funnels are the new way forwards. This was a few years ago. And there was almost like these like two camps of people who like really love launches. And then other people who like are like, I'm never launching again. It's bad for your nervous system. And I have a little giggle when these separations happen because I'm like, okay, guys, great. So yeah, you can be one extreme or the other. But what if we just did both? So I ended up creating a live workshop called the layered launch method that actually taught the integration of both ways of selling. And if I hadn't have listened, like really, really deeply listened over time to many people, not just one person, and took the perspective that actually you can hold multiple realities as true, I wouldn't have been able to create something that then went on to create $500,000 in a launch that helped so many people and still stands the test of time.
Yeah.
The other way, that's kind of like a macro way of listening. The micro way of listening is just within a sales call. So lots of our students have borrowed my sales scripts and they've taken the exact words that I teach, whether that's selling on a discovery session or selling in DMs. But actually, even if you've got the words to say, it's often about what you don't say. It's often about what you hear. It's often about the questions that you ask that allow you to get support and information and understanding from the person that you're on the other end of the conversation with.
And that's where the authenticity then comes in, because they feel heard, they feel seen, they feel like it's about them, not just what you're trying to sell them. That's going to be attractive because people are going to go, whoa, you get me. You understand what I want. Like, yeah.
I remember I didn't get missold because I didn't buy the thing in the end, but I went on a sales call many years ago, probably about 10 years ago. And I wanted to buy something that I knew was about 100 grand. And it was like a personal mentorship. And I was like, I really want that thing. Like, I want to be the best in the world. I want to buy that thing. I went on the sales call and the salesperson was selling the group coaching program, which was like 10K. And she's like, I think you'd be a perfect fit for this thing. And I'd already decided, I was way past, I'd already done a bunch of group coaching programs. Like, no, like, I just want that big thing. I want that big package. Like, I was ready to buy.
Yeah.
I was clear on what I wanted. Yeah. And the person on the other end of the phone was so stuck in, I just want to sell this thing, that she wasn't actually hearing. And I ended up buying nothing.
Do you think that was, do you think there could have been some psychology in the person at the end of the phone there, in their fear of actually seeing through the sale at a higher level and, perhaps thinking, yeah, right, like she's going to spend that much, scared to even let the offer out there and how sometimes there's a high offer, but the target is just sell lots of this middle one or whatever. But like, could that have been happening as well
Yeah, for sure. And I think I don't want to say as salespeople, because that sounds horrible, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But like when you have a genuine intention to help people and you have a product or a service that can support people in creating a result that they need, then in that sales process, we have to be careful not to allow our judgments to run the show. And it can be really, really subtle, where it can come up as you do have an underlying fear of someone paying for something, and you're going into a call making the assumption that no one's going to buy or it's going to be really hard to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And the energy that you bring to that scenario is going to be how the call actually flows. So you go in there and you're open and you're excited and you've got certainty and you're like, my offer's amazing. I know that it can help you. Would be silly not to do this if it feels right for you. So you can have a confidence, you can have like your own style, you can make it fun, you can make it loving, you can make it challenging, but you have to be so careful not to do yourself out of the sale before you even get in the call based on the assumptions that you perhaps have already solidified within yourself, which can come from years of conditioning. So making it sound easy and just show up to a call and do it different. And there's probably some work that you get to do on your own mindset and your own way, your way of energetically presenting and receiving a sale in between the calls or the conversations as well.
Do you think, though, I think in my experience, it's easier, like those higher ticket, more high touch things are actually almost easier to sell because somebody like you comes along and they are ready and they know they want it. And, you know, it's not, you don't need to do much in the way of convincing somebody or helping them overcome any concerns about it. They probably just have a few quick questions and then they're good to go. So it's almost like, wait, it shouldn't, like you said, it shouldn't be this easy. Surely it can't be that easy. It must be really hard. But actually, in my experience, the more bespoke, the more VIP the thing, the more that person's already pre-selected themselves for it anyway.
Because people are investing for access and proximity. And at the higher levels, like, I don't want to deliberate for a long time over something.
Yeah.
You want to look as well at your own buying behavior. So I'm a very alpha or a very like A type buyer, where if I have something that I want to create as a result or I have a problem I want to solve, where I'm going to start is asking my friends. I'm going to say, okay, like, who have you used for this? Or who do you know that is the best in the world for that?
Yeah.
They would give me a name or a couple of names. I'll then go look up their Instagram. Usually I'm like, actually, like, what is the pattern of my behavior? Okay, I would go to Instagram first. I would look them up. I'd then go and see, do they have a freebie or a funnel or a website that I can check out? I would go on the website. I'd find out what it is that kind of just get a feel for them.
Yeah.
And you know what I might do then? I might then go and listen to an episode of their podcast. So then I get a feel, okay?
Yeah.
But I haven't even contacted this person yet.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit on a sales call. I just want to know, what is it they've got? Cool. Do I trust them? Do I like them? Do I trust my friend that recommended them?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to send them a message on Instagram. I'm going to voice note them and say, hey, I've got this problem. My friend said that you've got this thing that can help. Can you tell me how I can sign up?
Yeah.
That's literally what I'm going to do. I don't want to sit on a masterclass, go on a free challenge. I just want to know who's the best for the job. I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
Where it's different is if you have not bought something before, or if you don't want to work with someone one-on-one, you want to go through a proven method, or you want to have a group coaching experience, because we all know we learn better in community and we get a richer experience.
Yeah.
So if I want to go, or if someone wants to come and do a group coaching program, you think about how can you mirror the method of delivery in your marketing and your sales process. So let's say someone's going to come into a group coaching program and there's going to be 50 other people in there.
Yeah.
That person's going to be in a group.
Yeah.
So how can you market and sell in a group environment so you attract the type of people that enjoy being in groups?
Yeah.
I always think like people, it's so simple and we make it so hard.
Yeah.
We're looking in one place for a type of buyer or a client that actually is not going to be hanging out there or behaving in that way. So when you mirror your marketing and your sales process with the method of delivery, it gets so much easier.
So don't sell high touch one-on-one VIP intimate experience on a group webinar.
Yeah, like think about, okay, I would usually sign a one-on-one client if I'm in person. I went to a July 4th business event in Miami, met an amazing girl, and she came to work with me in my mastermind and then one-on-one.
Yeah.
And that's because there's a present proximal connection where somebody gets to feel and understand what it would be like to work with you. So I was in person, I was one-on-one, we met one-on-one, and we then went to work together in that capacity.
Makes total sense, doesn't it? And it's like most of these things do, but we don't, we get so lost down funnels and all the things and all the noise. And I think also the thing that I was talking about this earlier, actually, just if you're lost or you're stuck, you're more subject to noise, and somebody pops up on social media and they're like, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. And before you know it, you're confused as heck, but actually simple, so simple. So talk to us a bit more then about, when it comes to the psychology of sales, are there sort of fundamentals, like mirror in your marketing, what you are going to deliver, the way it's done? What about the psychology of the buyer and who you want to sell to? Like, what do we need to think about?
So you want to think about the type of person and how they buy and where they're at in their journey. So I taught another one of these workshops that I do. I taught a workshop called Skyrocket Your Sales. And there's a really, really good framework within that actually teaches who to sell to and when to sell to them. And I think about it as if there's like a really, really fast moving river and you've got someone that's kind of walking on the footpath and they're looking down at the river and they're like going on a beautiful walk. A lot of people will try and sell to that person. And they're like, I'm going to try and sell my thing to the person that is on a walk and they're appreciating the surroundings and they're not really in a place or they're ready to buy. You've then got the next person that's kind of on the side of the riverbank that's like, oh, like I'm worried about slipping into the river, like don't know if this is safe, not necessarily feeling 100% on anything right now, don't need to take any action, but I'm kind of feeling a little bit weird. That person is anticipating that they might want to buy at some point, and a lot of people will also try to sell to that person. So you're really in this phase of like persuading, or when you're on a sales call, like forcing someone to buy. Then you've got the person that is in the river, in the rapids, getting washed away, who is like, help me, Lucy, I need this thing right now. And that is actually the person that you want to sell to. So it's identifying where in the journey they are at.
Yeah.
And that kind of rushing rapids river doesn't need to be like a life-threatening situation, but it needs to feel like it is either painful enough or exciting enough to have moved someone emotionally so that they then are excited to get a solution to move forwards towards the result or away from the pain. So I think it's a lot of work that you do behind the scenes or before you actually get into a sales process that gives you the understanding of who that person is and how you can speak to that person. So when we talk about sales psychology, so much of what I do is words and language and how to actually message things or what to say in a conversation. And coming back to the concept that sales is everything, a lot of my students or a lot of my like one-on-one clients will be like, Nick, I need to speak to this team member who we're having challenges with. How can I have a really amazing conversation so that it's a win-win? And what do I say so that it doesn't get like super antagonistic? So I will literally like voice note or I'll write scripts. And what is that? It's sales, it's persuasion, it's psychology, it's support, it's communication, collaboration, compassion. And we're all human at the end of the day. So it's like putting the human back into business and putting the human back into sales so that we can have much more enjoyable experiences where we get to actually co-create the journey along the way together.
Love that. I love that. And when it comes to that thing, you know, they're in the river and they want that help. The psychology in your thing. So I see a lot of business owners, and I've had clients that do this as well, where it's like your thing is great. Like what you do is amazing, but the person, the language, as you were saying, what they are kind of crying out for right now, it's finding the words that resonate and that make sense with them. So, you know, yes, once you work together, you might find other layers and things that are part of it. But do you think that it's results driven, whether that's a towards or away from? But do you think it's about the thing that the outcome that they want, or the pain that they're feeling? Does that make sense?
It's both, yeah. And traditionally, people will pay more or they'll act faster if it's an away from motivator. So an away from motivator is they want to get away from something that's painful. So an example of that might be somebody's business isn't working, they don't have enough sales, they don't have enough clients, they aren't able to pay their bills. That is going to be a real extreme kind of button that gets hit.
Yeah.
Because they're like, what am I going to do? So they need to take action to move forwards. A towards motivator or a more vision focused thing might be, I'd love to be on the front cover of a magazine. And that's not life-threatening.
No.
It's not really, you're not really in pain right now just because you haven't been on the cover of a magazine. But could it build your brand? Could it give you more authority? Could it get you more sales? Yes.
Yeah.
So that's more desire, and both of them are psychology. So there's within your offer, there's going to be both. And you want to get clear on what they are, because when you're writing up a sales page or when you're in a sales conversation, you're going to be moving through like, what is the vision that you want to move towards? So that's like, from positive psychology, the best possible self.
Yeah.
Like what would it look like? What would it feel like? Who else would that impact? And then what is it costing you? Or what will it cost you in the future if you don't have this right now? Who else does that impact? And almost like turning the dial so that the vision gets bigger and brighter and bolder, but also the pain gets like even more painful, because then what you do is you create a gap. So you create a gap that you or your product or your program or your service is able to solve as the bridge from where someone is right now to where they want to be.
So just for clarity on that, with that, let's just take one thing. If it was money, if it was bottom line, is going to suffer. The motivator is got to put more revenue into the business. Do you think that somebody's more driven by the message of, the message that it's like make more money, or the message of, because then you'll have like, i.e. then it will all be peaceful. Do you know what I mean? Is there
you need to have both.
Yeah,
so
both,
I call that a primary and a secondary level of benefit.
Yeah.
And most people will actually get stuck the other way around, and rather than them claiming or saying like you can make more money, because everyone's motivated by that, where people will often get stuck is, I help people create more confidence, and they'll be trying to sell the confidence. We all know that confidence, like if I look back on my investments, I've invested over $700,000 in mentorship and coaching over the last years. Most of what that has given me is certainty, is confidence to do the thing. But I never paid for confidence.
You didn't go out there can I get some confidence, please? Where do I buy this?
I paid because I'm an entrepreneur who wants to grow a business, to make more money, to have a bigger impact in the world. That's what I paid for. So if someone was selling me confidence, I would say no. Don't want it. So you have to get clear on, okay, what is the confidence going to give them? The confidence gives them more money, or the money gives them more ability to have choices, to have the freedom and to have the time to invest with their family. So you want to brainstorm all of those ideas, and then you want to bring it back to, how is my ideal client experiencing this in their daily life right now? So is it that they, like my brother, he works super hard, and I've got all of these like examples to hand right now because I've just been with him. He's got a little baby who's 6 months old, and his pain point right now is he only sees his baby between 6 p.m. and 6:45 p.m. because he gets up early, he's out the door, he's at work all day, and then he gets home and Poppy goes to bed. So bath time is the window. So a pain point for him is, I want to make more money. I want to work harder to provide for my family so that I don't just have 45 minutes with my baby. I can have more time with all of the kids instead. But what people are selling, like imagine if someone's selling confidence. Like it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Well, that's
I actually want to sell the pain. Like, do you want to spend more minutes with your baby?
But at the same time, you wouldn't sell time, would you? You wouldn't go, I can give you more time. because you got to hit the thing that's going to buy the time.
Yeah, and it's also in the context of what. So
Yeah.
time is great because it's a perceived finite resource. Like, unless we get into metaphysics where time isn't real, and we all know that as well. But
I just did a podcast on that today.
Did you? I want to listen to that one. It's like, if you have the same 24 hours in a day, then what are you going to do with that? And what a very strong marketing message is do you want to work less and make more?
Yeah.
So do you want the time back to do what you want to do with it? Of course you do. And it's like getting people to see things a different way. So you have a solution that can help someone systemize their business or can help them to outsource their cleaning to a robot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you've got the time back. It's like, what do we actually want to do with our time? And it's going to be very interesting in the era of AI for us to answer that question for ourselves, because there's going to be so many tasks that are taken off our plate. And this is where real purpose comes in. And this is sales 101. Because why do you want to make sales? Why is it important that you grow your business? And if you can connect in with your own purpose and your own meaning around that and help your potential client to do that for themselves too, then you know that you have a responsibility to make the sale, because it's going to help you move forwards in your purpose and mission. But then they've got a connection to their deeper why. So they then have to buy the thing, because it's so interlinked to the broader meaning that they get to realize around it.
Beautiful, isn't it? I think sometimes people get, there's been a bit of a narrative I've heard around the sort of the money piece, and people talking about how it's not all about money. And I say it's always it's not or. You can't, if you're in business, money's a vital part of that. It's the lifeblood of business, and we're talking business. So the money bit is crucial, and you can't have the human success without the money. But does it all come back to that? I've been sitting with this thought for the last few days around, like, does it all come down to money? There are lots of people out there that sell, I sell time management, I sell purpose, I sell confidence, I sell, I don't know, all the things. But like you said, people aren't necessarily shopping for that. Even if that is the problem, they're not going out there going, oh, great, cool, I'd like some help with that. Is money the front runner?
I think if you look at the way that we've been conditioned in society and what actually the currency is in this 3D reality, we have grown up and we've built a world where money is the transaction and is the exchange of energy.
Yeah.
So yes, in many regards, money is the bottom line for businesses and for humans in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And when we look at happiness research, like, this conversation came up at the retreat that I was leading in London this weekend. There was like so many people in the room that had made 8 figures, that had made 7 figures. And the people that had already passed that threshold, which is a completely arbitrary made up amount for anyone to reach for anyway, right? Who decided that that was a thing. But the people that had made millions and multi-millions had some sort of experience or realization where either it had been taken away, or they'd got there and they realized, oh, like, nothing happened. Like, there was no like, oh my God, I'm so happy. And actually what we see in positive psychology is that there's a threshold where money does make you happy up until around about 75K, or maybe a little bit more with inflation. But then after that, you actually get more problems. So you have bigger decisions to make. The risks are higher. You just have more complexity.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not going to make you happy. So you may as well be happy along the way. But what we do find is that when you are happier, you will make more money. So the income producing capacity of happier people is more. You are more productive. You build relationships better. So people have got it the wrong way around. It's like, I'm going to be happy when I make 6 figures or 7 figures. It's like, no, like, figure out how you can be happy in the moment right now, and you will make more money because of that.
I'm going to be happy to make 7
exactly.
figures. Like, yeah.
And then also look at, like, just moving forwards in the world. We're moving into a very different way of living and being, where we, for the first time, are returning to ourselves. We're returning to different structures within business, within how we live together. And it's way less focused on this kind of up and down, like, hierarchy, climbing the ladder, and way more focused on how can we collaborate and co-create together. So then we're looking at how can we actually contribute, how can we skill share. And just like us recording this episode of the show, neither of us has a transaction of money, but it's time, energy, it's intention.
Yeah.
And you're like, Nick, like, yeah, I know we've got this conversation that we can have that can really help people.
Yeah.
So how can we start to think about working to our strengths? And if we all work to our strengths, we're going to feel better more of the time. We're going to be more functional. We're going to be more effective. And what might the world look like when we operate with that as a metric for currency rather than money alone?
And I love that because there's room for everybody, because everybody comes at it from a different angle and a different style. And, you know, you and I and other people could talk about the exact same thing, but it's going to land differently with different people, because that's the beauty of human beings and the way we all are. So, okay, so let's we could go deep, but just to bring it back to the listener who is going, okay, I tuned in. I want to understand how I can use psychology to make more sales. Other than obviously come to your masterclass on this and go deep dive with Nick, just like key, top line things like using psychology to make more sales.
Yeah, I just did a post on my Instagram about this. I did a step by step, and I like to think about it in the structure of a sales conversation.
Yeah.
So you want to decide what the vision is first.
Yeah.
So what is the reality that somebody wants to step into or move towards? What is the outcome? What is the result that they want? So we know from positive psychology that increases hope and optimism, and it makes someone more likely to make a buying decision and also to reach the goal. You then want to think about what is the current scenario, or what is the pain that someone is in right now? What is the problem? And what is the meaning around both of those things? So if you can touch on as many elements of PERMA, so positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, accomplishment, touch on as many of them in your program and your offer, and also in your sales conversation, you're actually going to be shifting someone from where they are up into a more solution focused, more open state of mind and being, where they're able to flourish and thrive. And I think that more and more we're going to need to focus on that, because there's so much that is going to be automated or taken over by machines, that the value that we have in a sales process is the human connection. We want to be looking at what are the objections, why would you not do this right now? And is that the real reason, or is there something else that is coming up for you? So now we're really getting into psychology, because we're talking about people's real deep fears. And that could be a fear of failure. It could be a fear of success. It could be them not feeling like they could afford something, or they don't have the time to do something. But unless you're willing to really get into it and have honest conversations and get over your own fear and actually ask more questions and deeply listen and deeply care, then we're not going to be able to support someone into that buying decision. Because if our fear comes up, so let's say their fear comes up, right? Now you're having a conversation with their fear and they're like, but I can't afford it. And I'm scared in case I don't have enough time, or what if it doesn't work for me? A lot of people, if they're not grounded in themselves and they haven't done the work on their own mindset and psychology, would say, okay, no worries. Come back to me when it does feel like the time. Bye. Hang up the phone. When you're rooted in yourself and you know yourself and you know that this is just fear talking, you stop letting your fear have a conversation with their fear. You come back into curiosity.
Yeah.
You come back into, okay, cool. I'd love to understand more about what it is that's coming up for you right now. I've noticed that perhaps there's a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety. Can we just speak to that right now? What is it that you are feeling scared of, or what is it that feels like it's going to be challenging for you? And let's actually have a conversation around it. And the more that you're able to lean in from a place of that curiosity, rather than now they don't want to buy, it just becomes a really beautiful unfolding in the conversation, because you've lent into the psychology of the sale and not just the monetary value of it.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? People chase the money directly and lose sight of the conversation. I've had clients who have gone, oh, I'm not following up because if they want me, they'll come back. And it's like, I don't. If someone, I want the thing, but I'm busy and I'm distracted. And
Everyone's so busy.
yeah. And then somebody calls me and says, did you want that thing? I'm like, yes, actually, I really did. Can we book it in? Thanks for following up. I'm really glad you nudged me. And
100%.
but I'm like, what's the psychology going on for that person going, no, I'm not following up. And it's like, it's fear of rejection. And they know it, but they're dressing it up as, no, if they want me, they'll come. And it's like, we've got to look at ourselves, like you say, listen deeply, and make it your own. Because when we work with coaches and mentors, they'll help us and guide us, but they're not us. And you've got to find your own, you've got to uncover your own fears and get them out of the way and find your own way of communicating, right?
Yeah, and if you have something that you really truly do believe in, then you have a responsibility to sell that thing to be able to help people. Yeah. We had an example at the retreat again at the weekend where there was another one of our students in the room that sells something related to positive psychology. And I sat in the room and I was like, every single one of you in this room needs to come and get certified in PPCA because it is literally the best framework that I have created. I know that it works. I know that people need it. And I was like almost borderline aggressive because I was so passionate and so certain. But the point of me sharing that is that I then turned to my student and I said, you're selling the same thing as me. I'm not selling me, I'm selling positive psychology. You also sell the same thing. You can have that level of passion and certainty in the thing that you are selling as well.
Yeah.
And I think that we make it so much about us.
Yeah.
Where it's like, but I don't feel confident, or I don't know what my worth is. It's like, it's nothing to do with your worth. It's to do with what your client feels and understands and the worth that they put on the result that they are willing to create with the support of your methods.
Yeah.
And I think that is a big aha moment for people where it's like, oh, so my value isn't $5,000 or my self-worth isn't $10,000. Like, no, obviously not. So you can't put a monetary value on who you are as a human. And we get so tangled up in this that it actually stops us from progressing forwards with creating results together for people.
And do you think setbacks can knock that? So whether it's your own or someone that's had a setback, like being accused of mis-selling, or there's a lot of talk in the online coaching space about this, like you get on a sales call and then you're overcoming objections and people were like, it's like convincing people to buy a thing and you're like, I definitely don't want to do that, or I don't want to be salesy, and almost going so far the other way for fear of coming across that way. Like, I know when you're good at it, it just doesn't come across that way. Like you said, it's a duty to help the person to get to a decision, be that a yes or a no, at least it's a decision. But I think sometimes setbacks or those knocks can shake people in terms of how they conduct that sales process.
Yeah, I agree. And I really believe that we get to be good people doing good work in the world and doing a good job of it as well.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is like, we come from pure intention that we are genuinely in the desire of helping someone.
Yeah.
And then you have an impact focused good product that is the best that it can be. Because if you know you're a good person with good intentions and you believe in yourself and you know you've got a good product, and it creates an impact and you know that you can deliver it with excellence, you've got those three parts of the puzzle that make the sale a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think where we get into that kind of murky waters is if someone doesn't believe in the thing that they're selling, if they're only selling it from a place of wanting to make money, then the underlying kind of intention isn't aligned or isn't in integrity, because it's not a good product or it's not coming from a good place. And if someone's been burned, like I get a lot of people that come to me and they're like, Nick, I bought this thing, it didn't work, or I bought this thing and I had a bad experience. And I'm like, great, me too. Like, we've all had things that we've invested in that haven't worked out. And my stance on that is never, oh my God, these things didn't work out. I'm like, look at all of the things that did work out.
Yeah.
And let's look at what I learned from the things that didn't feel aligned, because all of it is growth.
Yeah.
And we can get so stuck in being stopped by our prior experiences that it stops us from helping ourselves and helping other people because of it. I think that there's a lot that comes in on the very, very subtle levels of having the confidence to get visible when it comes to sales. And it can be anything. It could be you've gone through a divorce and it feels like you have had a hard time personally, or you've had an illness or a sickness and you just don't feel as strong and as capable as you perhaps once were. And that is real and it's valid, and it's hard to show up online, and it does take something in you to put yourself out on the internet. But who do you have to help you with that?
Yeah.
Are you working with a mentor? Do you have a community to support you? Can you go to your 5 best friends and say, listen, I know I need to be more visible. Can you please help me to get my confidence back?
Yeah.
Like, we've all been there. Like, I've had to ask for help. I've given other people help.
Yeah.
It's not this, like, it's not going to feel or be the same for all of time. The world changes, we change, the internet changes. It's about how can we continue to move forwards in a way that really truly does allow us to connect as humans online and allows us to create solutions for each other.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I love it. I love getting, well, you know, I love the psychology of all of it anyway. Hence, I've done PPCA with you, and it really is amazing. And it actually, it's, you can use it in every area of life and business. So it's really great to learn and understand. If people want to delve deeper into this and learn more about the psychology of sales and how they can use that in their businesses, you're running a masterclass on this, aren't you?
So I'm going to be doing a certification in the psychology of sales. So I'll give you the link, and we've got a free training that you can come into and even just get on the wait list in the meantime.
Yeah.
So
We'll drop the link.
I always love to create the thing that I know people want. And I just see that so many of us can be helped by understanding this new way of selling.
Yeah.
It's almost like a new template for business, where it doesn't have to be done the old bro way. So yeah, I'm super excited to be teaching that and really be training people in a formula and in a format of selling that doesn't just work to get results, but feels really good for you and for your customer as well.
Love that. Amazing. Well, we'll drop the links in the show notes to this as well, because anyone listening that's like, right, let me look at this, then you can go and have a look at that and reach out to Niyc on Instagram, because that is where she hangs out.
I hang out. Oh, yeah.
And thank you for having this conversation today. I could talk to you for hours about this, but
no, right?
It's because we could just go down all the psychology rabbit holes, but it's been really good to cover this off, and I'm sure all our listeners will appreciate it too. So thank you. Super grateful.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and remember, go out there and shine your light bright, because you were born to be brilliant.